Evening, folks. Welcome back. It's John Pettipas, 8 o'clock in the evening on Thursday night, which is the 5th day of August 2021. This evening, I've adjusted my schedule a bit. I was going to do the party leaders at the end of my series. But tonight, because of the... I don't know. Here's Tim Houston. He's certainly not a conservative. I said that 2.5 weeks ago. He wasn't there was progressive conservative, a contradiction in terms. And then he comes out and says, last night, 8 nights ago, he said there's no Conservative Party in Nova Scotia. Tonight, the title of tonight's video it's a quote from Tim Houston, the leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Nova Scotia, PCs, whatever it stands for. Tim Houston. I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. So tonight's video is called Tim Houston, I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. Where do I start with that guy? It's interesting on the screen tonight that Steve Murphy was in one corner. Next corner was Ian Rankin. Next beneath him was Tim Houston. Alongside him was beneath the top block, the corner, was Gary Burrell. Gary Burrell and Tim Houston are inidentifiable in their policies. In fact, as I watched the whole thing for about 85, 86 minutes. And boy, oh boy, at times I would have to think that Gary Burrell, I'm no fan of NDP, is the more conservative of the two, or at least less reckless of the two. Tim Houston. Spend. Newfoundland. We had a guy, something like Tim Houston, Newfoundland. He was called Danny Graham. And Danny went out and he gave, and he hired. They tell me for every healthcare worker in the province, there's somebody waiting in reserve if a tsunami hits or something like that there. And Newfoundland, the beautiful province, and God bless Newfoundlanders. I dearly love Newfoundlanders. Newfoundland has the lowest ratio of patients per nurse in the country. I think the figure is something like 400, if I'm not correct, 400. So nurses in other parts of the country, there's about one nurse on average for every 700-800 people. So one nurse, if you divide the number of nurses by the population area, roughly it's 700-800 people. In Newfoundland, the beautiful province Newfoundland, it's one nurse for every 400 people. Okay, so spending more money on something doesn't make stuff better. Okay, I know he has tall nursing home friends and he has fat nursing home friends. And the cost, when a nursing home is licensed, it's licensed per diem, per DEIEM, and it runs about $250 a day. So you multiply that up by 365, you're looking at about $100,000 a year, approximately, for each person or so. You can do a lot of home care with $100,000 a year and keep people in home sweet home when they're healthy. There are some cases where people can't stay in a home, but boy, oh boy, people in their home and their community are much healthier. He talks about, and happier, not only they're healthier because they're happier, and they're happier because they're healthier. It's hand in glove, chicken and egg. Talks about Northern Pulp, one of the most prominent businessmen in Pictou County, in Tim Houston's stride, and said, I cannot support you. Okay? People of Nova Scotia, from the Yarmouth Light to Bay St. Lawrence to Fortress Louisbourg and New Waterford, if Tim Houston can stand up for an industry in his home county of Pictou County that there was, indirectly spin off, hundreds of people in Pictou East, his riding, Northern Pulp, he didn't have the guts, no balls, I don't know where the kids come from, no balls, I'll say the word, no balls, no backbone, no principle in him to stand up for a major industry in his own county, people in his own riding benefit from greatly, and all across the province. He will never stand up for you. Okay, he'll never stand up for you. Okay, he criticizes Owl Head. Okay, well, Owl Head, the people in that area want to have a golf course and some economic activity. Okay, City Stickerville, probably not as much so. But it's the people in Owlhead should decide what goes on area, not people in the city of Stickerville or the Ecology Action Centre or some professor at the university, tenured professor drawing down 150, 175 grand a year. Okay, so anyway, and he tops it off by saying and spending, I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. What do people have to say? And there's some good Tories out there, and occasionally some bad Liberals, but the Tories are missing a trick. It's like go back to Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln the poor man looked exhausted. And they said, what is it? One of his friends said. He said, this sow, Abraham Lincoln called himself a sow, this sow doesn't have enough nipples for the people to suckle on, the ones that, and there was such a demand for patronage. The Tories in Nova Scotia haven't had patronage since, well, the NDP was in before, so Tories haven't had patronage since June of 2009. And they're getting, I don't know how to maintain their biomass, big biomass, but they have, but they must have a lot reserves. So basically now, we're looking at 12 going on 13 years since we're in their 12-year plus, full 12 years out, heading into 13 year without patronage. And they miss it. But there is nothing conservative about the so-called PC party in Nova Scotia. Tim Houston stated early this spring, he bristled at being called a conservative. Not my words. This is Timothy Houston. He bristled at being called a conservative. This is the man that 8 weeks to go tonight, almost to the hour, it's 20 minutes past 7 on Wednesday night, last week, that he said, there's no Conservative Party in Nova Scotia. And to top it off, now, tonight, Tim Houston said, I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. So, if you want an NDP government, socialists, vote NDP. Don't waste your vote with the PCs, okay? At least with Tim Houston. He's despicable. And with that, that's basically all I have to say. It's a short one. I don't know what more one can say in that guy. I'm using his own words. I am on board with Justin Trudeau, said Tim Houston at 25 minutes past 7 o'clock tonight, Thursday night, which is the 5th day of August, 2021. This is John Pettipas. These are my personal opinions. We've had some good Conservative premiers in the past. But boy, oh boy, we've had some rotten so-called PC premiers in Nova Scotia. John Buchanan comes to mind. Rodney MacDonald comes to mind. And Tim Houston, God forbid that man ever hold office. He is totally unsuitable to be in charge of my beloved, your beloved province of Nova Scotia. So the people will decide and get out and vote. There's advanced polls open now, and you can get all different ways you can vote. But Tim Houston, his own words, I'm on board with Justin Trudeau. How anybody can vote for Tim Houston's beyond me. I repeat, he's totally unsuitable. I'm certain that someday the PC party in Nova Scotia will have a leader, and that man or woman will be acceptable and credible and competent and qualified and worthy of being Premier of Nova Scotia, but not Tim Houston. Just say no to Tim. With that, I got to go. Share this video. I'm certainly putting out lots of discussion. It's now about 10 minutes past 8. Spread it far and wide, my dear friends. Thank you. All the best. God bless. Good night.